So just in, the Korean server of the game is getting a new update. And this brings excitedly the new weapon dying system. It also comes with the release of the next solo dungeon with the removal of parkour sections and even Bercant, Greyeye, Crimson weapons being added to 3-star dungeons. There's some weapon skill fixes and some new catch-up events, getting you easily over 5,000 combat power, with then also a new skin drop, outfit and weapons. So let's go through everything in this video. First of all, be aware this is for the Korean server. They usually get the update a day before we do on Thursday, but not necessarily we get everything, as keep in mind, they've been on tier 2, the Talandre update, for far longer than we have. So let's jump back to the new weapon dying system. This will allow you to, yes, completely change the color on your weapons. You should have different sections as well, like you have with armor, and ultimately, yeah, you can completely change what those weapons are looking like. They will be re-releasing a whole bunch of older ones with this schedule on Korea, and they've added some new patterns that you can apply to your appearances, including to like a headdress piece, some pants. And yeah, this is going to be super cool for adjusting the style of how you want to look. Not entirely sure when we will get this update, but it could be as early as this Thursday. You can see here 6 new patterns for your outfits and the weapon appearance dyeing function. Unfortunately though, not all weapons will be dyeable, at least from the get-go. They will have a special icon which denotes whether they can be dyeable. And then indeed we'll be getting the new solo dungeons. Not confirmed we'll get it this week, but it's very likely, and it has been reworked a little bit. This solo dungeon then has 2 new bosses, so Orc Flower Guy, and then this werewolf-like creature. There should also be another solo dungeon that will come out the following week that should have another additional 2 bosses, but for now, just these. And you can see the change here. The configuration has changed to a boss battle, normal battle, and a boss battle, removing the moving play sections. They're also condensing the difficulty levels to normal, challenge, and extreme. So probably like tier 1, 3, and 5. If you're not aware, you can actually queue up to dimensional trials right now and gain the extra random matchmaking bonus chest. So it's actually the most efficient way to do these, as you would gain this extra chest, along with all the runes for completing a tier 1 trial. However, these additional matchmaking rewards will not be provided from April the 16th to April the 30th for some reason, but after the 30th it should be obtainable again. Again, this may not happen for us on global, as that's only confirmed right now for the Korean server. We can wait till Thursday for our patch notes. But yes, if you weren't aware, the most efficient way to do like random queues right now is to actually do like random queue tier 1 trials. You get the extra chest and runes. But I'm assuming the queue times is going to be quite a bit longer, and if you want to go on a higher tier, you run the risk of just wasting your time. They seem to be adding weapons to the 3-star dungeon loot tables. This totally could allude to how they will introduce those new weapons for us. That includes the Bercant weapons, the Greyeye weapons, the Crimson weapons, and the Rankar Wood-like wand. And they will probably also then add, as they show here, the ability to buy them with loyalty coins. You can already see all of those weapons in game. So hopefully they do this for us. This includes all 8 weapons. They're adjusting your activity gains in the order of prioritizing guild, then faction, then peace, and lastly cooperative events. Combat power. When you unlock like your highest amount of combat power, it's going to put the date of the achievement and the combat value recorded. So if I'm always using, say, some alt build like this right now, I've hit over 5,500 because I've been doing over tier 10 trials. You can check the gameplay of that for wand and dagger. And then people come along and say, oh, why are you not over 5,500? I am, but not when I'm using a alternate setup that I'm still working on. Like, why am I going to go and throw on extra magic evasion to my chosen visage when there's really no rush to do so for PvE? So this, honestly, a great thing. It'd be very nice to be able to track exactly the max combat power you have reached, even though the build you're using may not make the most of that. And with material transmutation, I believe this is, they've simply merged it down so there won't be a separate weapon, armor and rings. It'll be all condensed. I believe for vanguards you will now have the color of this, like kind of a blue, and then they fix some skills here with weapons. So your great sword, if you have auto move to target, it will work properly. With crossbow, fixed an issue with the cooldown of, I believe, selfless diffusion, which was affecting your artifact. Some tooltip errors for wand, and your black anvil weapons. They made an adjustment so that the solent bonus is not like unusually applied. I've had reports where sometimes it wasn't applied, sometimes it was. Ultimately, check your character sheet here and make sure you're actually getting the extra bonus right there. Like if I have the black anvil weapons, I should have this at 66%. If I use some food, this should get boosted too. I'll use like this, and now it shows 66%. You had to sometimes like reslot them. And they fixed the Guardian exploit, where you could gain the 6% additional base damage. Basically, you would use the Guardian, you would stun or fear 3 targets, enter your standard dash morph, and wait until like 30 seconds, and then you would gain that extra boost. A lot of people abusing it, so good they're actually adjusting that. But no mention of trial fixes here. No mention of leaderboard resets, nothing like it. They did list some known issues here, but they should fix them in no time at all. And then they do have some like new events. They're having like a rapid growth event guide. So if you're less than 4,000 combat power, this should help you significantly to get up to 5,000. Again, Korea specific. Very unlikely we get this. You can see all the different rewards that you're going to gain here, and yeah, again, not confirmed coming to global, so not a lot of point looking in too much detail on this. But yes, it should get you enough resources to get to 5,000 combat power, which is pretty good. Then they're selling some new skins. We can see a bit of a preview of them here. We did get like them teased to us back last year as per a Korean stream, and they look pretty neat. Again, they come with weapon skins too, and you can then see how it looks like for the female character. I will definitely showcase these skins probably tomorrow when we get patch notes for our update. Again, they should introduce the Crimson, Bercant, Greyeye weapons to us then, so we should be getting a patch this week, unlike last week. And again, we may very well get these skins too, but it's not confirmed. You can see the full outfit for the female character, front and back, then without the decorations. And then the same for the male character, front and back, without the decorations. And you can, of course, change the colors how you want. Female character, then also like on the male character here too. And there's the new weapons, so the greatsword, the sword and shield, the daggers, the crossbows, the longbow, your staff, your book and wand, and your spear. And that's it. They do kind of look a bit all over the place. But again, we should be getting the new weapon recoloring scheme. We know already it's not going to be for all the weapons, so I assume they've just got to put the work in and go back on previous weapons and eventually add the ability to re-dye them. But yes, good there. Actually improving a bit on the fashion in the game, in the sense of being able to customize your character and appearance further, especially weapons. Like, people can just decide not to buy a weapon just because they don't like the color of it, which is a bit of a loss on their side. And they are getting what looks to be like a battle pass, an extra battle pass, simply for helping with weapon mastery. You can see like there's a full list, extensive list of all the different rewards you can yet based on the tiers you unlock with another, like 50 tiers. We can look again a bit more at this, but again, I do not believe we'll be getting this for us on global, as Korean server has had like tier 2 out for ages. So this is just for catch up for like newer players on the Korean server, which apparently there then are. And otherwise, the Korean server is probably the best they have as like a public test realm. But that's everything for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys around.